Sonic the Hedgehog 4 is gearing up to introduce Metal Sonic as its next major villain, but the Knuckles TV show may have also set the stage for Shadow's next big opponent. In Sonic the Hedgehog 3's post-credit scene, we got our first look at Metal Sonic, who in this version leads an army of robotic copies that attacked Sonic. Thankfully, Amy Rose made her grand entrance, saving the day with her Pico Pico hammer and wiping out the mechanical threats. This moment not only introduced two key characters, but also hinted that Sonic CD would be a major inspiration for the next film. However, Paramount has been known to take creative liberties with the game's stories, making the movies anything but predictable. A perfect example of this was Knuckles, which introduced Pachacamac as a spirit guide instead of the antagonist he was in Sonic Adventure. These unexpected twists make it hard to guess when and how the next major Sonic character will appear, but Knuckles may have just confirmed the arrival of Shadow's next big adversary. In Knuckles, we were introduced to a mysterious fire demon, which turned out to be an important part of the Echidna's backstory. Episode 4 revealed that Knuckles once fought and defeated this creature, stealing its power, known as the Flames of Disaster. This ability allows him to coat his fists in fire, something he displayed both in the show and during the events of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, while the fire demon was shown as a puppet with glowing red eyes and mouth. A nearby painting of the creature depicted it with green eyes instead, an interesting detail that makes it look a lot like Iblis, the fire-based monster from 2006's Sonic the Hedgehog. In the games, Iblis was a catastrophic force that led to a ruined future and was even referred to as the Flames of Disaster, the exact name of Knuckles' new ability. With Knuckles possibly setting up Iblis as part of the movie universe, it opens the door for an even bigger threat, one that has a direct connection to Shadow. Iblis is one half of Solaris, a powerful sun god worshipped in Soleanna, and his other half is none other than Mephiles the Dark. In Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, Mephiles was a villain who took on the form of Shadow's shadow, mirroring him in both appearance and his own twisted plans for world dominance. His goal was to reunite with Iblis, who had been sealed within Princess Elise, so that together they could reform as Solaris. Mephiles was one of Shadow's most personal enemies, tormenting him with the idea that humanity would eventually betray him. In the end, Shadow and Silver traveled back in time and erased Mephiles from history, causing everyone to forget he ever existed. However, in Sonic X Shadow Generations, Mephiles made a comeback as a boss, still aware of his past, and once again trying to regain his existence. If he could return in the games, there's no reason he couldn't make his way into the movie universe, especially with Iblis already lurking in the background. If Mephiles does appear in Sonic the Hedgehog 4, time travel could be the key to bringing him into the story. His origins in the games were deeply tied to time travel, and the Sonic CD Time Stones, objects that allow for time manipulation, could serve as the perfect way to reintroduce him. Since Sonic CD is likely to be a major influence on the fourth movie, it wouldn't be a stretch for the Time Stones to play a role in setting up Shadow's next villain. If the film takes cues from Sonic 06, it could establish Mephiles as an entity that's been lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. Of course, with Iblis's backstory already altered in the Knuckles show, the movie might tweak Mephiles' origins as well. He could still be connected to Shadow, but without relying too heavily on the fire demon, allowing for a more focused conflict between the two. While Metal Sonic is set to be the main villain of Sonic the Hedgehog 4, the introduction of time travel elements could be the perfect way to tease Mephiles' arrival. The movie could lay the groundwork for his eventual debut, setting up a future storyline where he becomes the central antagonist. This could also pave the way for a potential Shadow spin-off or even a full Sonic the Hedgehog sequel where Shadow takes center stage. Given how closely Mephiles is tied to Shadow's story, it feels like only a matter of time before he makes his move. With Iblis already established in the movie universe, his darker half is likely not far behind. Sonic's cinematic universe has been steadily expanding, introducing classic characters in a way that keeps longtime fans engaged while still making the story accessible to newcomers. Each film has brought in new elements from the games, but with a fresh twist that makes them feel unpredictable. If Sonic the Hedgehog 4 successfully adapts Sonic CD while setting up Mephiles' introduction, it could lead to one of the most exciting and ambitious chapters in the franchise. Whether that means a massive showdown with Metal Sonic, an epic battle between Shadow and Mephiles, or even the first hints of a Sonic 06-inspired storyline, the possibilities are endless. At this point, it's clear that Paramount is playing the long game with the Sonic movies. They're not just adapting the games directly, but weaving a larger narrative that slowly builds toward bigger threats. With Shadow's arc just beginning and new villains waiting in the wings, the future of Sonic's cinematic universe is looking brighter than ever. If Sonic the Hedgehog 4 pulls off the right balance of action, character development, and game-inspired storytelling, it could set up an incredible next phase for the franchise. On the flip side, let's not forget that Sonic the Hedgehog 4 needs to introduce Super Knuckles next. One natural way for the Sonic movies to continue expanding the lore around the Super States is by allowing other characters beyond Sonic and Shadow to use the Chaos Emeralds. While both of them could still tap into this power, audiences have already seen their transformations. If Sonic 4 wants to keep things fresh, it needs to bring in a new super character. While Amy Rose is a possibility now that she's been introduced in Sonic 3, Super Knuckles is an even stronger choice. Most characters in the Sonic universe have the potential to go super, and Knuckles is no exception. His first transformation happened in Sonic and Knuckles, where his super form turned him pink and enhanced his already impressive strength. The games have shown that Knuckles can either activate this state on his own, using the Chaos Emeralds, or receive energy from Sonic. Either of these methods could work in Sonic 4 to finally bring Super Knuckles to the big screen. Knuckles' super state wouldn't just be a fun power-up. It would tie directly into his character arc. Since Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Knuckles' story has revolved around the Master Emerald, and his duty to protect it was reinforced in his spin-off series. In Sonic 3, he initially hid its location from Sonic, but ultimately allowed him to use its power against Shadow. Moving into Sonic 4, Knuckles should still be the Master Emerald's guardian, but this time, the stakes could be higher than ever. If Sonic 4 presents a threat so great that even Knuckles feels compelled to use the Master Emerald's power himself, it would be a huge moment. Having him choose to embrace his super form after previously being so protective of the Emerald's energy would show his growth. It wouldn't just be about defending the Emerald anymore, it would be about using its power to protect the entire world and those he cares about. This shift would add weight to his decision and make his transformation into Super Knuckles a powerful and emotional moment. Apart from its narrative importance, Super Knuckles would also be an exciting way for Sonic 4 to raise the stakes. Sequels always aim to go bigger, and Sonic 3 already delivered a high-energy climax with Super Sonic, Super Shadow, a Robotnik showdown, and a moon-slicing laser. Topping that won't be easy, but introducing more super characters could help maintain the excitement. Super Knuckles wouldn't need to be the central focus of Sonic 4, but his transformation would still be a huge deal for fans. Players who have experienced the games have been waiting for this moment, and the movies have already teased Knuckles' raw strength with his fists of fury. However, that ability has yet to be fully utilized, and Super Knuckles would be the perfect way to take it to the next level. With Sonic 3 already featuring a Super Sonic and Super Shadow team-up, adding Super Knuckles would be the logical next step. It would solidify the idea that multiple characters can harness the Chaos Emerald's power, and would ensure that at least 3 members of Team Sonic get their moment to shine. The film could even introduce Super Amy Rose or Super Tails, depending on how the story unfolds. Speaking of Sonic 3, its post-credits scene set up 2 major new characters, Metal Sonic and Amy Rose. While brief, This reveal made it clear that Sonic 4 will continue expanding the Sonic universe, and Metal Sonic's introduction hints at a major shift in the franchise's direction. Unlike previous versions of the character, this Metal Sonic isn't just a single opponent. He's part of an entire army. Seeing Sonic initially face off against Metal Sonic was exciting, but the real shock came when the camera panned out to reveal an entire group of them surrounding him. While Amy was able to take them down with ease, their sheer numbers indicate that Sonic 4 will see even more of these robotic threats. This is a major departure from most incarnations of Metal Sonic, where he is typically a lone antagonist. The confirmation of multiple Metal Sonics in Sonic 3 suggests that Sonic 4 won't need to introduce the full Metal series from the comics. In those stories, Eggman created a team of robotic clones, including Metal Tails, Metal Knuckles, and Metal Amy, all designed to take down their organic counterparts. While the concept was intriguing, the Metal series had a short lifespan in the comics, with most of them being destroyed after just a few issues. With Sonic 3 already establishing an army of Metal Sonics, there's little reason for Sonic 4 to explore the full Metal series lineup. The sheer number of Metal Sonics already ensures a massive challenge for Team Sonic, making additional robotic characters unnecessary. That being said, Metal Knuckles and Metal Tails would be easy to introduce, and they could add even more variety to the action sequences. If the movie wanted to go all in on the robotic theme, it could still find a way to include these variants. Regardless of how Sonic 4 handles the Metal Sonic army, one thing is clear: the stakes are continuing to rise. With the introduction of more super characters like Knuckles and the looming threat of an unstoppable robotic force, the franchise is heading into an exciting new chapter. The battle between organic and artificial life could be a major theme in Sonic 4, pushing Team Sonic to their limits in ways they've never experienced before. Bringing in Super Knuckles would be the perfect way to balance these escalating dangers. With Sonic and Shadow already having their super moments, giving Knuckles his time to shine would ensure that each main character gets a powerful upgrade. It would also help distinguish the fourth movie from its predecessors by introducing fresh, game-inspired elements that longtime fans will appreciate. And that's all we know about the upcoming movie. Thanks for watching, and if something more comes out, then you'll know it. We will keep you updated, so if you give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. But what do you think? Do you want to see Super Knuckles in Sonic 4, or should another character get the spotlight? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.